Or maybe he just wants to sit at home since he's got more money at this point than the federal government and he can't wrestle anymore. Maybe he just wants people to leave him the fuck alone. You ever wonder that? For heaven's sake.
Hello again, friends. And you are our friends, and welcome back to another episode of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru right here, wherever you are on this Tuesday, as the show debuts this week. We are back on Monday next week. Let's get that out of the way right here at the top of the show. I am your host, the great Brian Last, and of course the man joining me who will be answering your questions, which are sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com or even sometimes on Twitter, using the hashtag CornyDriveThru, the exalted one of the cult of Cornette, Mr. Jim Cornette.
Bravo! Bravo! You were wonderful. You were wonderful.
Oh,
You
thank you,
were
sir.
wonderful, Brian. You were wonderful. I'm going to be German today. You were wonderful. I sound like Colonel Klink. Oh, possibly Sergeant Schultz. You were wonderful and wonderbar. And it's a wonderful day. A wonderful day in the neighborhood. Because I'm in a good mood because I have just watched a masterpiece of physical combat. And we're going to get to talk about that today. Plus, you did a great introduction, and also you did the programming notes so that I wouldn't have to later on, and we're going back to the normal schedule for the drive-thru next week. So that's wonderful. Excellent, Brian. Well, at least your show, do the rest of it.
I was going to say, thankfully, I know that you watched the Balter match, because if not, as a nice Jewish boy from Long Island, I would have gotten a bit worried about this German accent all of a sudden.
No, those fun-loving Germans from the Hogan's Heroes days probably wouldn't fly on television today, but no, should we just come out with it? Should we just come out with it because we're giddy? We're giddy after having seen this thing. Should we just talk about the big match? I can't pronounce poor Ilya Kuryakin, for the Man from Uncle fans out there, but Ilya and Walter on NXT UK. So many initials, so many letters. Should we talk about it here?
Well, let me just say, we heard from a lot of people. We mentioned it the other day, you and I off there, when we were talking. I said, I've heard from a few people who said they wanted to talk about this match. And then since that time, we've been flooded with requests on Twitter, which I know you see, and then going through the drive-thru email, I was shocked how many people requested we talk about this match, because usually if something big happens on NXT, there's maybe, I kind of know what the audience will be for people requesting we talk about NXT. This is NXT UK. It's kind of under the radar when it comes to even NXT. And we've been flooded.
A subsidiary of NXT even.
That's right. And considering the UK's about to go into shutdown, I don't know if we're going to be seeing it for a while. But I can't think of the last match that got this kind of reaction from the listeners. I did not expect this. We received countless emails from these players.
Here's the thing, I don't know how people are finding it, but I'm happy they're finding it. And as soon as I watched this still fresh in my mind, I tweeted that for all the people talking about it,
do what you do best. Win.
And pro wrestling has to modernize. Well, this is what it could have evolved to if it hadn't been.
Do we have any pilots in here?
Co-opted or otherwise run into the ground for 20 years by firefighters and backyard
First
cosplayers.
blood.
This was brilliant. And the evolution thing again is it's so ridiculous when you have guys doing everything but spinning lit candles up their asses and running around playing hopscotch in the middle of the ring on one national program, and then the major company that operates this little subsidiary on this classic, this Oscar winner, has fucking Judge Judy and People's Court mashups on the and all this other tomfoolery and shenanigans. And right under the nose was what, and not everybody, many people, especially today, can't do that. kind of match. This is what combat, which is what wrestling may not be now, but always has been, could have evolved to. Before we talk about that, I'm looking off the top of the hour here. I know what they were doing here. And they were so good at it. Let me say first, I've always been a fan of Walters. This was the best match I've ever seen him have. The best example of what he does that nobody else is doing in this business these days. Which is concentrating on the work combat aspect of it. Concentrating on what works for him. What he should and shouldn't do regardless of the way he acts.
That's horseshit.
And he's brilliant at it. And
You're fucking kidding me.
I was prepared not to like because of the spasticness of his entrance and his facials when he was just over the top, ready to have a stroke. And I'm like, how does this guy get last in this match? He looks like he should be blown up already. And also there was the weight, the size and height and weight difference. But Ilya got over with it. Because he's damn good at this too. And
He saw that this was a struggle so long.
yes, that's the whole, they are struggling, they are competing. And it's not like, for anybody who said, well, we don't want to see that boring stuff, it looks real. This was not boring. I was popping all over the place, and I would think anybody else that watched this would be too. And that's what I'm saying, like, they think I'm they prefer guys running around the ring on fucking play school motor bikes. So anyway, Walter and Ilya
Titan is standing by. Call it when ready.
and as I said, it's so well done that I hate to pop the bubble on
Stand
any
by
of
for
the
Titan.
magic that they did to diminish it in any way. I'm not going to accept
Transferring systems to pilot.
not only the best modern wrestling match I've ever seen of any style, but it was the safest match I've seen in a long time. And what match did I say that? I did not expect to hear you say the safest match.
Nice moves.
This the concept of what they did.
They get up, bud. They're pulling ahead.
Friendly pilot is off the hull. Friendly pilot has left the hull. Friendly pilot critical damage due to exit action. Warning, reactor exposed. Friendly pilot left the target. Taken down. Caution, hostile unit on board. Battery loss imminent.
These guys are so good. Looked legitimate. Any modern match I've seen, any match I've ever seen on AEW television, ever, in all the anybody, there was less risk of serious injury in this match. Seriously. Because they were working stuff on their foot. They were laying a lot of shit in. And they were marking each other up. Their weapon was so big, and he just mastered the art of laying hands on people, and really putting holds on people, and using the look of people. To the great eye, yes, I'm not saying that Olivia wasn't feeling it. He wasn't there. He was in
for
but this was
Titanfall.
controlled violence by two
Switching to manual. All systems nominal.
Take out those guys!
They were laying shit in safe places. They were not safe places, but they were close. There was some violence. There was some potatoes. Nobody was going to get something their neck broken. Nobody was going to have a knee torn out. Nobody was going to have a hernia issue. Nobody. I would rather. I don't want either one, but I would rather Walter do everything to me
Friendly Titan
that he did in that match that he was rather than fucking have one of those fucking cosplay goofs on AEW who come off the top rope with a triple Indy
We're losing. Fight
and
back.
cave my face in with one of their knees or their ass. And it's not even just
There is a hostile pilot on the roll. Warning. Detecting major hull damage.
and Ilya were professionally in control of what they were doing.
Warning. Hostile Titanfall incoming. Salvo report ready.
They knew what they were doing, stiff as it was.
Warning. We have taken critical damage. Advise taking cover.
Out of control.
We're picking that pilot apart.
And when we talk about Walter has the big paws, which are brilliant with chops. And I'll say this, without revealing too much of his name. He could chop you half as hard as he could
Eject.
Ilya.
Eject. Salvo report active. Eject. Ejecting pilot.
And they have mastered skin meets skin and it's sound fucking phase. And all those fucking bugs, Ilya, but not even Walter, because he's so
I love it when they blow up.
without surgery. Supposed to be ballet and a fucking performance of goddamn, you know, that's what the blind believers, you know, doing the gymnastics and
He's gonna hold a grudge.
fighting and whatever the fucking rules and or stipulations are at a given time and era. This is what wrestling could have evolved into. Walter was the experience coming up at some point.
Titanfall is ready. Boy, your Titan is ready, pilot. Standing by for your call.
Walter, even one of these guys around the world,
Stand by for Titanfall.
Targets. Warning. Enemy pilot attack.
and offered him $5 or $10 million for the next several years.
They're fighting us.
To
Turn
be
it
a
around.
top heel of a evolved wrestling program that would be something like we just like to saw. Not completely, but in large part. Because that's the kind of guy you can build a and I assume he doesn't want to live in the United States, but I mean pre-pandemic. They've not brought over here, they've not have to bring stuff up. He's not really anywhere to hear what he's got. But I would have figured out if I had finances, I would have figured what you're at. down here in OVW several years back. But anyway,
Titan ready. Call it any time, eh?
when Walter hit the splash off the top rope, not only did I pop,
Get out of there, pilot.
but
I learned
it
it.
took the whole
Get
match
the
up
next
till
one.
then, nobody came off the top rope. And nobody missed it. There's no reason for anyone to have done that. And we're going to think about it. And it's something holy shit! And I thought, he was probably and it meant something. So, anyway, I don't understand why that anybody doesn't understand that to evolve something doesn't mean changing it completely. The whole thing. And making it not resemble at all what it once was. That would be, instead of man from the apes, that would be man from fucking... What would it be? I'm so frazzled I can't form a cogent simile. It would be man from a fucking giraffe.
I think it would have been better if after the match, Walter went in the back, started dancing to some techno music. We just saw what Louisiana American Wrestling TV. This was serious. It was presented seriously. You can get into it as an athletic contest. This was excellent.
If they wanted well, I looked at also when they were trash talking each other in German, I guess, although the other guy's Russian. I don't know what they were fucking talking. And that's the point. It was great. I thought for a minute, well, hell, they can go ahead and just call some spots. But then I thought, well, shit, this is on the internet. Somebody's going to speak German or Russian somewhere. But the trash talking in their individual language was great. But that's the point I was going to make, was that you haven't lost the entire plot of what this is supposed to be, but at the same time, this was modern. This was updated. This was, especially a guy like Elia, at his size, he probably wouldn't have been given a top spot years back. But you can see Walter in any era. That's where I was going with that. But anyway, on a side topic, can we do a side topic yet?
Yes, we can.
All right. I got one of the comments on Twitter, because I got deluged also. Was Meltzer's Uncle Dave's comment. Somebody had said, well, Walter got over in the territories of the baseball battle, whatever, any era, how is the phrase, and
Oi! This fight is what you were born for! Pilot, do what you do best. Win.
How, unfortunately, little Uncle Dave has picked up that actual execution performance of the in-ring product rather than just watching the in-ring product. For one thing, a lot of the big stars in 2020 didn't that style either, and he'd have to change it. And he'd be right doing so today because it's not their fucking thing. Even serious wrestlers, not everybody can work this fucking style. So, but Walter wouldn't have to change his basic presentation. They would just not have to show him his agreement that they work that step. He's still going to hit the top. Nothing to do. And I harken back to Walter McDaniel and Johnny Valentine.
Reinforcements on your six!
If he was a little bigger, a little older, and crustier, would have been the prehistoric wrestling equivalent of what they just did here. Everybody when they work would say, oh my God, after 40 years, I can still hear those chops laying in the back row of the bleachers. Because Bobby and Valentine were doing the same thing. Only they've been updated. This was even more fucking, what would you say? It wasn't more violent than Wahoo and Valentine, but it was more action. The whole
Guard mode. Follow mode engaged. Guard mode activated. Tracking off.
Performance like that. 15 years later, Ric Flair and Johnny Garvin.
Hostile ground unit
Standing there
detected.
going, top, he knows top. They were going out having those stiff matches and running what they like to have.
Engaging light infantry.
They were working still and had an agreement that this year was going to be laid in a safe place. And Flair did the backhand knife edge and Garvin did the right hand overhand. And they worked every night for weeks. They were chopping and getting both guys.
Enemy pilot.
Hopefully Flair is just bleeding because I think the overhand is easier to do that than the knife edge. But Flair come out with his chest blue. Johnny Garvin come out with his chest fucking purple and black and blue. And it got to the point where Flair was putting antibiotic cream on his fucking chest because Garvin had chopped so many layers of skin out of the top of his chest that he was scabbing, and the doctor said it might get infected. But did he say long enough? No.
Hostile pilot detected. Aiming to destroy.
And those people could hear those fucking blows land. Getting back to nature. And we were millions of people respect the wrestling business. And they were seeing the same blood. Oh, my God. And he would have been the worst thing. He'd be hard to handle. That's what he owned the grave.
Taking that pilot apart.
So the point is, I'm sorry, Uncle Dave, but a lot of guys, a lot of big stars in the business would work with alters today without altering his style.
Engaging hostile Titan. 40mm armed.
Maybe
Aiming to
lighten up on
destroy.
some of the shots. And
Fire from
Barely winning. Let's step it up.
targeting to engage enemy Titan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in no way disrespecting not only the effort, the work, and the fucking that was across the board. Those guys were pros. They knew what they were doing. They agreed to it beforehand. Everything was safe and
Enemy pilot.
responsible.
40mm armed.
And, once again, besides the pandemic, if Walter is not one of the major stars on the main roster in this country, it's only because he don't want to move to this fucked up country. Apparently, I would think, do not break the fucking bank like we did this guy over here. And they don't need Walter for this guy. He's brand. Walter's brand new. It's been brought for 20 years. This guy's even bigger than a fucking bird. Look at his face and his attitude and the whole nine yards. I'm so happy that somebody has actually gotten this
Hostile pilot
and
detected.
what this is supposed to be. That even the
He's gonna hold us, command.
most apparently don't understand what they were doing, and that there's more people that would be happier with this project. As long as they're making money, I guess the people are talking, Hardy, find it on the network. You have to tell me how to look it up. And just bling anything away that we've seen on American television for months and months and months and years and years. And it's just really exciting. I've been looking at the stuff I've seen in recent years with Titanfall. I'm not a big fan. No. I think really there are going to be way more injuries on the high match than a stiff match. Remember Stan Hansen putting people out?
It's only catching the eyeball.
Titan almost ready. Pilot, your Titan is ready.
Yeah, this was the art of what worked combat is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be ballet. And you're gonna feel it. You give me a good soap, but nobody's gonna need surgery. And it wasn't insulting to anyone to watch that. It wasn't stupid or silly or funny or funny.
Take it down.
It was exciting. You guys having a fucking war, hand-to-hand combat, but at the same time, there was no. For all people say, well, they just love boring chin-locks for 30 minutes. I never saw a 30-minute chin-locks.
Pilot, your Titan is standing by. Report it when ready. Bring it down. Repeating it. Not my match. Take the lead.
The same type of stuff, but in different ways that you could believe every single bit of, and it was a quarter of the time of a big finger bang production classic.
Legion, while the match may have been safe for the participants, I'm sure after the match they were still. I think I want to get something to you.
Warning, enemy pilot detected. Advise CPS locked.
The Omax cryo whether it's the pain relief roll-on, which I think they should just actually soak in a tub, but also the cryo advanced joint defense one-a-day supplement. Relief joint discomfort and maybe they've been taking that all along. That's how they were able to do physically replay what they did with their construct on the advanced joint defense. So it's a great new formula. You can reduce pain. I don't know how old Walter is. I know I'm getting older. If you want to stay active, it's a must for muscle recovery. There you go, folks. You'll improve flexibility. This is great for Walter and Ilya. Long-term joint health, you're going to need some of that too. No THC. That may or may not be a plus for you. Omax, folks, is offering our listeners a limited time offer 20% off their introductory pricing on the Omax Cryo supplements. The supplements including the advanced joint defense. And this discount also applies for any product like that through the end of November. Just go to omaxhealth.com. That's OMAX health.com. And enter the code PRIDE to take advantage of the savings. We've been raving about this stuff for ages. Everything they make is good. The sport cream, the pain relief roll-on, the transport defense, you can 20% off anything on the site at omaxhealth.com when you enter the code PRIDE. I don't know, maybe Walter could become the business
Titanfall almost ready. Keep
Omax,
going.
because every time we get to rid of him, you're going to need some. You're going to get rolling from the tippy top of your head to the tippy
Pilot,
tip of your
your
toe.
Titan is ready. Stand by for Titanfall.
Sponsorship.
Why he's just following on a fucking subsidiary of the developmental program and he should be the biggest star in professional wrestling. Somebody find me a video of Walter working with a boy, sexually invisible man. Yeah, I said I can't conflict anybody, but I feel safe with Walter. I feel safe in his stinky catchers with all. Yeah, I would say that big challenge out there. I have to look at this judge's mighty chin.
entire tournament, you, to a lesser extent, me, went off on the goal line, all for it. And try to legitimize this time. You think they would love it?
And if they haven't thought about it and realized that they should, I'm glad you brought it up. Because how do you say it? Everybody that grabbed this guy's little fucking thingy and flung themselves out across the ring.
Pilot, your Titan is standing by. Call it when ready.
Apparently,
Stand by for Titanfall.
perverted goose ego.
Follow back. Guard your sector. Tracking protocol. Understood. Follow your team.
First whistle win. Then hustle out.
Shit on the wrestling business and go along with having a guy clean with his strong. All for round. Talk nicely. How far can he go over that?
Let's get some questions here on the show. Another topic that has flooded the Boston United
Get to the evac ship.
coming from many people.
First move. That finished the job, eh?
I look over was Jim himself. I just wanted to get Jim's thoughts on the matter. Here are a list of the alleged banned images from Titanfall.
Hold on here now. I've heard about, people have been talking about this on Twitter. I was off Twitter on Saturday because it was our anniversary, and then I was trying to catch up on things, so I'm not up on everything. But I saw people talking about it, but I never actually saw, how was this list determined? How did this leak out? What kind of list was it? Where did it come from? Is it legitimate? These things are absolutely really prohibited in the truck, the production truck, from being fed to the fucking Thunderdome. How do we know this?
Well, what I saw were images. I don't know if it was the truck or if it was just a position backstage, but they were the monitors, the screens, with all the various images that you would see of the fans on Thunderdome. And then there was a separate area with images of things that whoever's screening it needs to look out for. If you see this person or this image, you need to get that off the Thunderdome right away. We can't risk this going out.
Oh, wait a minute. How many of those fucking people's ugly mugs do you think they've got in the Thunderdome to begin with? And how many people are watching, and they're going to compare those little bitty screens with these pictures they've got up? How is that going to work? What, they got 500 people monitoring this stuff?
I saw one or two people, maybe. It may have been one person, now that I think about it.
Jesus Christ, it'd probably give them convulsions or seizures or whatever trying to follow all that shit.
Would you like to hear some of the things that were discovered that are on this list? And when I say this, once again, it was a couple pages of images that whoever there is monitoring has to look out for.
It's like when you go in a convenience store and they have a picture up on the door that says, this guy's a shoplifter. Watch out for this guy.
It's like a few years ago at the Hall of Fame. Didn't they put up signs, don't let Scott Steiner in?
Yeah,
He's
Steiner. Beat the fuck out of Hulk or somebody.
Here's the list. AEW, Impact Wrestling, Pro Wrestling.
Boy, this fight is what you were born for!
Comic Con. Cody Rhodes.
Right. Do what you do
Marty
best.
Scurll.
Win.
The Young Bucks. Chris Benoit. CM Punk. Jim Cornette. Alberto El Patron. Ryback. Ashley Massaro. Superstar Billy Graham.
Wait a minute, she worked for them, didn't she? I know she's
The story is on one of the tribute to the troop shows. And according to the story, the WWE asked her not to let that out because it would hurt them. And so other actually saw what I will put on senior executives in WWE. I'm concerned that the stories are out there. Hopefully someday someone does look at these.
Well, on this list you've read so far, so basically any other company's logo, which makes sense, or any other company's wrestlers, which makes sense, except they don't list all the other wrestlers. If they ban a picture of Cody, what if somebody puts that picture of Cody? Or one of the Rudy brothers, or whatever. Should it be any other company besides ours and don't have a million pictures, just have people that know who the fuck people are? I hope so.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Almost got your title. Keep fighting.
Well, yeah, but he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, but he can't be in the Thunderdome.
It is 2020. Superstar Billy Graham is dying.
He's going to be the most elderly dying man that ever lived. He'll outlive us all.
But people hear about, the Reggie show is when he first came out and talked about steroids and his health. It was, I think, 1990, 1991, it was Billy Graham that had too many years left.
Yeah, well, no, remember, before that, they showed his hip replacement surgery in the 80s on WWF television when his bones started degenerating.
Titanfall is almost
He's
ready.
been in bad health for a long, long time, but he can't get the Thunderdome. This will be the shock that kills him.
Vicky Guerrero.
Okay.
And then finally, the flags of Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Tibet.
What?
That tells me the WWE doesn't want to upset China. They're probably doing business with China.
Is China mad at their own flag?
China certainly is mad at Tibet, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, yes. I don't want to go into too much Asian history.
Sergeant ready. Call it any time, mate.
Between Communist China and Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Tibet. There's a reason the Dalai Lama went on a run.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not up on Chinese politics. I've been paying too much attention to ours that are probably even worse than theirs at this point. Hopefully for only another day or so.
Would you be included on this list? Do you feel like, why am I on this list with these other undesirables? What are your thoughts?
I was gonna say that, like when I'm joining CM Punk, so at least I'm in some good company, but then there's a lot of just outright jackoffs on that list too. Enzo Amore, for every punk, there's 2 awards. So I am glad that obviously I'm one of the most influential people on the internet, that people are trying to force my image onto the program because I can't hold myself to appear on it in person. And so obvious, because it's not like they're not putting pictures up of people probably unless people
Well,
have tried to insert
Time to
those
end our pain.
images.
Fight
Anything,
harder.
all kidding aside,
Stand by for
those
title.
are probably the things that most people have tried to stick in their
Full transferring to pilot.
I'm flattered that I'm one of those people. But I harken back to the words of Groucho Marx. I wouldn't be a member of any club that would have me for a member. So,
If you get before that space in the country when you get through.
We can do that. But how would you tell the
You're screenshotting yourself and your phone, your head. And then, of course, a screenshot of the image showing up on TV.
Well, yeah, what Brian just said. But yes, whoever gets me on SmackDown, that's not because they said we can. I didn't want to go to the game. But now that they say you can't come, well, fuck you. So anybody that gets my face on SmackDown provably in the manner in which Brian last just described and depicted, you get a free t-shirt of your choice.
All right. If you step on the same time, another question here on the
Picture me and CM Punk with our arms around each other.
This question is sent gmail.com from Jay.
You're
In
dominating
San
that pilot.
Antonio, another popular topic here, Jim. I'm sure you've heard by now about Vince and Company shortening Matt Riddle's name to simply Riddle. Does Riddle pass the name test? Sounds like an idea for a gimmick Jim Herd would have for you. 1990.
Oh, that doesn't have any name yet. It's not even a full name. I don't know what to say about why they just had him on television for the last 2 years. Easily. Suddenly he doesn't have the first name that he's always had, and why would he have that name? And why would you just call someone Riddle? Unless you're going to add the R, go ahead and have him redo fucking, Frank Ocean's part. Why are they sabotaging it?
One theory I heard, I don't know how legitimate it is that due to the fact that he is right now in the midst of a little bit of a scandal, that someone could Google his name to see that Riddle has a 20% sexually assault about him. And maybe for one people who Googling his name, they just got rid of it. It's a theory, I don't know how based in reality.
That might work if he had been on television for the last 2 years as Matt Riddle. They already know what his fucking name is. And if they give a shit enough to find out, it's not like they're going to hide something at this point. And if the guy's not still weak and he has been being harassed, then you change his name, that looks shady. And if you don't believe the guy's not guilty, then let him fire him. It doesn't make any sense to fucking start not even changing people's names when everybody knows what they are, but giving them either stupid or partial names. How does that help you? We don't forget about it. If you want to do that, instead of doing, oh, what would you fucking drop Matt? We drop his first name and nobody will ever know it's the same guy on the internet.
Are you surprised at how you start saying that?
He's been a hard slog for me to watch him. Because I know he's got a political background and he's doing certain things that we like parts of, but there's just the goofiness aspect to him with the whole fucking everything and the personality, just the goofiness and the weird movements I believe I've mentioned that he makes in some cases. It's been a hard slog for me to like the guy, but he's done some good. He was in the what do they call it? The fight pit match, right? That was good. We loved that. That was great. He didn't do a lot of his creepy shaking and shimmying, but his promos are just lackadaisical to emotional a word for his fucking promos. So I don't know. I go out.
But this has happened before. It happened to Cesaro, it happened to Rusev. It's happened to so many different guys now. Would you like to take a bet on who you think will WWE.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I have been hearing that a lot of the culture Cornet listers out there have been making big bucks with our friends at MyBookie. And I understand that Charlie from Starkville has moved into a brand new double wide. Just because, come on. I'm not trying to swerve you around. This is true. Charlie moved into a brand new double wide, and he got him a 57 Chevy, all tricked out and customized, and it's got one of those dogs hanging from the rearview mirror with the head that goes all with the money that he is going to bring his ass to our friends of that city. Charlie from Starkville is part of your silver, and he will be too close. Whether it's NFL or college ball, whether it's UFC cars, the presidential prop rent, get in while you fit in on that one, because hopefully after tomorrow we'll know if we're going to get a blowout and the world will be safe for democracy. Folks, whatever you want to bet on, go to the folks at MyBookie. They offer action on everything from championship futures to NFL in-game live betting.
Friendly pilot has left your home.
Congratulations, by the way, to the 2023 Thanks on these generous 20 season higher on the Lakers. One big basketball game, you know well, good for them. They deserve it. Hard as they work. They're trying to them. Oh, I don't know their name. What's wrong, James? Well, he won. Folks, they're not going to here's another thing. How did Minneapolis get screwed? Because the Lakers with their team, there's links in Minneapolis. There's no place in Los Angeles. They've got an ocean. That goes all the way back to the 40s when this whole thing started. And Minneapolis got screwed out of the Lakers. But anyway, that's probably plenty of screwed. Come on. Originally from New Orleans, like jazz and squad through a fucking sign.
Reactor exposed. Severe damage sustained.
Reading. Well, you can sign up at MyBookie. Claim it deposit match dollar for dollar, all the way up to $1,000. You put in 100, they give you 100. You put in 200, they give you 200, and on and on and on. You get the drift. Folks, it's promo code DRIVE, where you claim your bonus when you make your deposit. For all the things you want to make to begin your winning season exclusively in MyBookie.
Well, Jim, there are many topics that have come in this week that are apparently very popular for some people. We're trying to get through a bunch of these. This next one was sent to the gmail.com from Peter Sutherland in Surrey, United Kingdom. Hello, Jim. Hope you are well. Hello, Peter. Hope you are well, too. Yeah, question. Hope you are well. Are you well? I wonder if you had any thoughts
Stay up next. We're winning this one.
that Netflix and WWE Studios combined to produce a all-world documentary series following Vince McMahon. Surely, they've done it properly. This could be the most important documentary series in the history of wrestling.
That North Star didn't stand a chance, father.
Kind regards, Peter.
Pilot, your Titan is standing by. Calling when ready.
A documentary series that is following around the present current day.
Because of that, I knew they were doing a documentary series.
Well, which is it? That's what I'm trying to answer. I need to know these. I don't know. Vince McMahon used to say to me many times, you can't make
Stand by for Titanfall.
You need to have all the information. I'll just jump ahead and say that if this is a documentary series following him around the day-to-day right now, I think more than curiosity would be the only reason I'd want to fucking. I'd even rather watch if they had done something like that before doing the longest. I would have had that for time. But they did something like that for me 20 or 25 years ago. That would have been some bad shit. To follow him around all day, every day back then. But now, I'm not so allows him to essentially come off the otherworldly being that we all came to know all of sometimes hate. How do you anything like fly on the wall that I have seen in the WWE President Nick Khan announced a multi-part Disney documentary that was sold to Netflix with WWE and Bill Simmons as executive producers. The series is one of Netflix's most expensive on the documentary side. No release date was made.
Stop the retreat.
They had that, what was his name, Shoemaker? They had that kid in there that was a wrestling historian. He either didn't know what he was talking about, so he started making things up, or was just lying. I think he didn't know what he was talking about, so he's making things up. He's the one who said Andre the Giant, as a heel attraction, went to the different territories, and the top babyface would wrestle him.
Yes, I remember that. And we're all going to, when they told him as being a wrestling historian or wrestling expert or whatever, we're like, who? Never heard his name before.
Our wrestling historians were saying, what?
Simmons aside, kid, it isn't that. I know NFL Films had a degree of autonomy, to present the good and the bad, but still overall NFL Films pretty much glorified the NFL, did it not? I don't.
It did.
So I don't really see how you can look forward to an independent look at what him from the wholly owned subsidiary of the company that he owns to look at the light. I'm going to be interested in seeing it, see what they do. You may be interested in seeing it, see what they don't do, and that you can take apart, because I'm factually minded also. But if they come up with some cool old shit that we might not have seen before, video, things like that, I like to watch stuff like that. And I honestly, will everyone know pretty much if the WWE is doing it, not to take it as gospel truth, because they'll say, Vince's superior business acumen, transformed the smoky bingo parlor wrestling into a major multi-billion-dollar attraction and all that stuff.
He didn't try to put anyone out of business. He just wanted to compete. He didn't ask any wrestlers to no-show and walk out. He wanted everyone to give notice and do things the right way.
He certainly did. Whenever they were leaving the WWF, he wanted them to give notice and do things the right way.
That's the thing. If you're going to do a documentary on Vince, you can't ignore all the negative stuff. And there's so much of it. For any good thing that was said about him, he did, using predatory business practices, go after every single other wrestling promoter, every wrestling magazine, anyone who was doing business in the world of wrestling. He went after them. I just found in the Norm Kaiser files, Norm Kaiser's correspondence about all of this, and how Vince Jr. told him, if you cover any other wrestling promotion except for mine, you can't have any access anymore. We're done doing business with you. But then Norm Kaiser called Vince Sr., who had been his contact for years, and Vince Sr. said, no, don't listen to him, don't listen to him. And it's exactly what happened. So, I mean, you gotta talk about all that. You gotta talk about it.
And by the way, listen, just you run across that very quickly. For the younger folks in the audience, Norm Kaiser, Pro Wrestling Enterprises, the Wrestling News Magazine, etc., had been doing the arena programs for the WWF, the Philly Spectrum, Baltimore Civic Center, Madison Square Garden, and all points around the horn for what, since at least the late 70s.
No, mid-70s.
Mid-70s, okay.
Mid-70s until 83.
And actually had their own, a totally WWF version of the Wrestling News Magazine for them to sell in the arenas there, but he didn't want Norman to cover anybody else in the world of wrestling in order to get access to do all the things that he had been doing for his father for so many years.
And by the way, I guess we'll answer this now. I couldn't believe we got questions about this. You made a reference quickly to Mankato, Minnesota.
Yes,
a couple weeks ago. And a bunch of people said, why did you bring that up? That's where Pro Wrestling Enterprises, for the most part, was headquartered. Norman was also in New York and various other places. But it happened to him. Vince McMahon tried to hire Bill Apter, tried to hire George Napolitano. When that didn't go the way he wanted, they were banned from ringside. He brought Jeff Walton in to run his magazine. That didn't last too long. He was not just going after the promoters and the promotions. He wanted to own everything. And the first battle was in '83 against the magazines.
So there you have it.
So that has to be covered. Him messing with Crockett Promotions on pay-per-view. How do you
I have a feeling unless it's a goddamn 18-part documentary of 2-hour episodes apiece, we're not going to cover the war against the WrestleMania.
Okay, well, what about Black Saturday? Because the previous version that we put out there, one of the McMahon documentaries, came out, the Eagles and ratings were up and it was great, and certainly wanted to be a part of it, so we had to get away from it. Which is a complete bastardization.
But
in reality,
do what you do
ratings
best.
went in the toilet. People wanted Gordon Sully back.
They had more calls and complaints to TBS about taking away their quote-unquote Gordon Sully wrestling than they did about any other programming decision ever made before or since in the history of Turner Network television.
The point where Ted Turner brought Bill Watts on the station in Sunday nights, the highest rated show in television, put only Anderson on Saturday mornings, and he's Vince McMahon was going to kick off that network, and he put Jim Barnett and the deal where Jim Fox was going to pay $1 million to CBS Hotspot, and ended the cost of Ted Turner and Bill Watts, put Ole Anderson back into the fold. That funded WrestleMania and gave the crowd money, and no more money. So that was New Japan deal. That funded WrestleMania. So I mean, that in a sense has to be talked about. It's all that Vince gambling on our lives. We're not going to talk about that. You know, Vince McMahon has a list of people that the people writing the books are not allowed to talk about. And at the top of the list is Dr. D. David Schultz.
I wonder why.
I mean, that's the point. How do you ignore the 92 scandals? How do you ignore so many different things? We're saying they're about to do.
The reason why I say they're not going to cover those things is because they're not going to build. Yeah, I'm going to be wrong. We shall see. But they're not going to delve that deeply into any wrestling history. They are going to quickly gloss over whatever happened before 1983 and primarily concentrate on what Vince's father had done with the WWF. Barely acknowledged that other promotions ever gave them the run for the money or exceeded their business in some places. And then started with what Vince did with his father's small company that was making a fortune, and how he built up into a global sports entertainment juggernaut. I guarantee there will be very little.
I guarantee you're right. I guarantee we're going to do a whole show of these countries and it's going to be the whole put all his money down and he bought his dad's company. Not his father gave him a sweetheart deal.
Titanfall almost ready.
He
Keep
paid for the
going.
company out of the company's profits. Because he took over the company in '82, and then he had 1 year to pay off in installments the partners of Capital Wrestling. And he did so out of the profits of this company that was making hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Well, it was grossing over that. It wasn't making that. Some people say, well, making these profit. It wasn't making a profit of tens of millions, but it was grossing that. It was more than, because it was the Northeast population center, so it was always the biggest grossing territory. But yes, you are correct in that he paid for it out of the heat. It was already an ongoing business. All he had to do was not cancel anything. It was happening, and it was going to pay for itself. And that's not even diminishing what
Boys,
Vince
the
has done
Titan is ready,
since then,
pilot.
because yes,
Standing by for your call.
he made a lot of money, and he did a lot of things right. Many years he never bought the wrestling. Picking around work for him in the office as far as the merchandising and the licensing and all of it, etc. He went overboard in recent years, there's highly people that probably never seen it before, to the point where sometimes there's disconnect between what they actually do and most people working in the company. But while, you know, he even said, you know, he's trying to figure out he's never been the greatest in the world, but he's made more money at it because he picked the right people in business decisions at YouTube Beauty days and every other promoter. Rocket keeping the same front office staff and the, you know, the office on Friday and just being outmanned and what you guys for, or whether it was, you know, the ludicrous management of in the 90s when he looked into it and lost it because he paid everybody that much money and came all these new deals and had the company and turn the run rolls didn't want to get the company at the beginning. Everything oftentimes, you know, vanity projects, there's kids and fire everybody that he likes personally and people that have experience in things like that. That's why I'm not saying that you have to go for Steve Austin and Ross. But me, over the last 30 years, and more now, business done these battles because he was just in business better, not because he had better work. It is written by the pictures, and they will continue to this is another example of like a Hogan book, isn't it? Where the truth is impressive enough. You have to lie about it when you're already the biggest box office attraction at some point in the business. You have to tell people that you work for it. Because when you're just acting at the same time, it's actually, you know,
Nice.
The truth should be impressive enough. It's honest. But they can't even tell it correctly and with accuracy on our side. Well, no. That was obsessed with he did a couple times on the phone. I think that's what it's like. It's like Trump being, you know, jealous of Obama and want to erase everything he did. I think it's just stuff that bad. I mean, I'm in the rest of the business too now.
Next question. Popular topic the last few days. You know, you kind of addressed it on the experience. Because a lot of people send it in to the show that's coming out on election day. I'll ask this.
Your Titan benzene, fight back.
Using the hashtag
Engaging guard mode. Scanning for enemy hostiles. Auto Titan engaging hostile Titan.
Nice move. Now finish the job, eh?
Tends to let me down in some way. You know, I know obviously Undertaker is going about it. He's protected. And I would imagine Undertaker feels alone. But Undertaker always to be a good guy. He's an honest guy. He didn't ever seem to be a guy who would either be a stupid, horrible sucker or a criminal. That would never occur to me to describe Undertaker as one of the things. And therefore, since he's not a stupid, gullible sucker,
Fireworks.
he has
First
to
second
know
down that Titan.
what Donald Trump is. He's in the wrestling business.
Pilot,
Always
almost got your Titan. Keep fighting. Titan ready. Call it any time, mate. Stand by for Titanfall.
Cognizant human being. information and not C.
Guard mode online. Thermal systems active. Engaging armored Titan.
And who
Igniting
Donald
thermal
Trump
systems.
is could you hear them speak, whether it's in person, on television, or whatever.
Hey, you've got some chops,
So
Spider.
since
Nice takedown.
Taker, or anybody else who supports him at this point, we'll just open that up. It's especially for somebody I've looked up to a lot of. You suddenly find out.
Follow
So
mode
long over
engaged.
when you look at it the same way again and you don't know why. They seem so
Detect
normal.
enemy pilot. Thermite launcher
Well,
armed.
yeah, I'll take him on board. Those people. It's the perpetrator finally terrible stuff and has to recognize what Donald Trump is and that he's wrong. They're not working on it. So, just like anybody else, support him because he's wrong. Whether it's for him because he's an asshole, or it's for him because he's an asshole liar. It would seem to me that a stand-up guy like Taylor would say, no, I don't care what the ideology is. People probably against Trump. Or people in some project.
Attempting to contain and destroy an enemy pilot.
Patriotism, like some of these other people, even Republicans are, and say, we don't have the ideology of Democrats, but obviously, it's all hands on deck for the all of our country. This repugnant piece of human scum needs to be gone as quickly as possible from our lives and get back to normal. He's not the man for the job. Almost anybody with cognizant critical thinking and degree with politics would eventually is focused to it's not that easy. And also, he's very religious. So, maybe I can understand where the character flaw comes in within the Taker. Sometimes the guy who would say, no, I don't care whether they agree with my politics or not. This guy isn't it's not like that can even be debated anymore. It's been reported 25,000 times by the Washington Post. It's factual that he's an obnoxious asshole
Titan support is almost ready.
most everything that the president needs to know that's been testified by the people that have been trying to tell the president what he needs to know for the past 4 years. He won't listen. So, Taker, a guy in the wrestling business who should know a word that crowd when he
Boys,
sees
the
one.
Titan is ready, pilot.
Taker, a
Standing by for your call.
supporting the template, liar. Anybody else that you say no for good of our country.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Because that's what it's saying. It's not just danger to us and our country and our lives.
They got us this time. We'll be back.
Because he doesn't believe in climate change. He'll piss off the oil industry.
Engaging follow mode. Providing overwatch.
Is it in his paper show that he's just another rich white billionaire? It's all about he thinks this. He will make them believe that he gives grace to all the rich people that he bows around with. And it will come down now to, yes, I will ransom my principles and my country and the American way of life and rights for women and rights for minorities and rights for gay people and rights for the environment and everything else that is the rights of the Supreme Court and judges across the country to represent the people.
Get to the evac ship.
You old white asshole Republicans who are still trying to cling on to this country that they should have lost a long time ago. People would say no, regardless of what you think. Regardless of what the ideology is of the politics, this is all hands on deck. Because this is the United States of America. And with this guy fucking all these things up for 4 more years, the world being a Russian bitch. He's got Putin's dick in his mouth. He's got his dick up Donald Trump's ass. Whoever Donald Trump owes that $400 million or more to, I guarantee you Vladimir Putin knows it. If it ain't him, and he knows who he owes it to. Or the taxes. Did take or anybody else? Did you tax cheat? 50% of Trump supporters believe in QAnon. Did you see this?
I saw something like that, yeah.
Which means, if not the whole thing, that there's something to it that needs to be investigated, which 40% in the United States of America. Because that's 50% of Trump supporters equals out to 20% of the United States of America.